Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
I've been going out with a girl, her name is Julie, but last night she said to me when we were watching telly.
Joanna is in Wandsworth. Joanna, what would you like to say?
Oh, hello, James. I just wanted to say it has occurred to me that we are in the position where we are. We vote to leave, and this has come up about NATO. And I think Angela Merkel and the EU ought to take a little responsibility for where we are, because to my mind, if she hadn't humiliated David Cameron and given the British people something they could wish to remain in the EU for, we wouldn't be in this position. And I don't understand why we can't be. We have to be controlled by the EU. Why do we have to be?
What is it you want to do, Joanna, that you can't do until we leave?
I would like us just to be the way we are, but we're not controlled.
No, but that's what I mean. In terms of how they control us, what is it that you're going to be able to do once we finally left that you can't do today?
Well, we would have control of all our laws, whatever they are, and
so which law are you looking for? Which law are you looking forward to losing?
There you go again.
Asking questions, dealing in facts. Well, then you must have known the question was coming. You must have known the question was coming, so you've got a brilliant answer prepared.
No, I don't. But all I know is that they control.
Oh, stop it! Of course you do.
Our laws, and
how do you know that?
And I don't.
Oh, Joanna, I'm not going to get cross with you. You just keep saying this as the country slowly sinks beneath the waves. 60% of our laws, we're getting back control. Our passports are blue.
What Angela Merkel wants is what's right.
Trying to blame Angela Merkel for us punching ourselves in the face.
No, we've done it through democratic referendum.
Yes,
so
you can vote to punch yourself in the face, Joanna.
No, I haven't. I'm glad, and I would do it again, because I don't see. I couldn't tell my children or my grandchildren, look, you'd never be good enough to be independent. You've always got to be controlled by those unelected people.
And then when I point out to you that you can't give me any evidence at all of us being controlled, you get cross with me, don't you?
Well, they control. They give free movement. You have to have free borders.
No, they have free borders. We don't. We're not in Schengen, and we're not in the euro.
No, I mean there's free movement of people between Britain and the EU.
With some fairly strict rules in place that other countries impose, and which we chose not to. But again, you don't know this, and you don't care.
Also, I don't see how you can equate free movement with more security. If anybody in the EU, and we know because we've got terrorists here ourselves, our terrorists can go to Europe, their terrorists can come here because they're in the European Union and we have free movement.
Yes.
How does that help our security?
If they're known to be terrorists,
yes,
they won't get in.
Well, but
if they're not known to be terrorists, they'll still get in. But you keep on, Joanna, keep on just regurgitating this nonsensical Daily Mail worldview, and you probably won't have to explain to your grandchildren and children why they're poorer and living in a less safe world. And tell me why Donald Trump's good news for Britain while you're here.
I'm not talking about Donald Trump in that.
Well, that's our only ally. That's all we've got left.
But I agree with
Please
him.
talk to me about Donald Trump. Tell me why he's good.
He didn't contribute enough, and that America was bearing most of the costs for that.
So NATO, down with NATO now as well.
No, you're taking it to the extreme.
I'm taking it to the extreme. You think that we didn't control our own country, and I'm taking it to the extreme.
Well, I don't know how you can say we control our own country.
I'll show you how. Give me one example of us not being in control.
Free movement of people.
Right, okay, you get your passport. Get your passport out now. Fly to France and tell me how you got back without showing it.
Well, didn't one of the people who were
Oh my days! I give up. Why have you bothered? Why do you have a passport, Joanna? If we don't have any borders, why do you have a passport? You can go wherever you want in the world. You don't need a passport, do you?
But so did one of the
Oh, heavens
terrorists.
above! I'd have a lovely day, madam. That's it. There you go. And Joanna's a nice lady. So did one of the terrorists. What? What have we done? Answer: we've taken back control. Dave's in Westcott. Dave, what's going on?
Well, a couple of points on your argument. I mean, the first point is that Donald Trump is basically saying that other NATO members are not paying the 2% of GDP that they should be paying into the club. So that's the first negotiating tactic he's saying. He's saying, why should we have young kids from Milwaukee go and die in Estonia? When
You know, Merkel was elected.
Let me finish. When the
No,
Germans
because you're
are
ignorant.
prepared to
Merkel
pay-
was elected on a manifesto pledge to raise the GDP spending on NATO. You knew that, Dave.
No, but there's 2 points. The first point is it hasn't
Okay, well, let's have
happened.
the second
But
point.
the second point is you're arguing about a bloc of 27 countries. You're arguing on your own terms about the most powerful country in the world, or in Europe. You said Germany, and you said she was possibly the most powerful person in the world.
Woman.
So why can't 27 countries create their own defence union in terms of replacing NATO? What's your problem with that?
I don't know what you're talking about, is my first problem.
Well, look, NATO is separate from the EU. If the EU want to create their own defence mechanism separate from NATO, and they've got 27 countries, and the richest country in Europe is Germany...
I don't know what
well,
you're talking about.
Well, clearly you don't, because you haven't thought it through. What you're saying...
Well, that might be the reason, Dave, but I'm not going to put my money on that just yet.
Well, I think you should. On the first hand, you said we need NATO. On the second hand, you've defined 27 countries, wealthy European industrialised countries headed by Germany.
They're not all like
cannot
that.
look after their own defence within the
So are
European
you telling
Union.
me that we don't need NATO?
No, I didn't say that. I believe we do need
See,
NATO.
I don't know what you're saying, and nor do you.
Yes, I do. What
So
I'm
we
saying
do
is
need NATO, but we don't need to be in it.
if they want to replace NATO, they've got the power
Who wants to replace NATO?
Well, Angela Merkel, clearly, because she's coming up with the idea. The second point
Mate,
was
what
about...
are you actually talking about?
Well, it's obviously difficult for you to understand two
You're telling me it is. So Angela Merkel doesn't like NATO and Donald Trump does.
No, she likes other people paying for NATO, and that's what she's complaining about.
And she got elected on a platform of saying, I want to pay more into NATO.
Well, I'd love to pay more to you to go on holiday, but I haven't got the money, and I just find other things to do with it.
See, I'm going to say goodbye to you now, Dave, and you're going to go
You
away.
are.
You're going to go away convinced that you've made a really good point and that I've willfully and deliberately ignored it, aren't you?
You don't like arguing the facts.
I can't argue with you, Dave. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What I'm saying is NATO is better than anything else, but if we don't have NATO, the European defence can all get together and 27 countries can pay for it themselves. Job done.
Yeah, you've said it again, okay?
I have. Thank you.
Great point. Absolutely no clue. And Dave convinced he's a genius. And that's why we are where we are as a country. So Dave thinks I'm rude or talking over him or interrupting him. No one listening has got a clue what he said. He's misunderstood some comments under an article on the Daily Mail website, thinks he's Henry Kissinger.